Welcome back, students. Today we are going to see a new chapter, chapter 5, trial balance. So trial balance is a statement, right? So it is a statement which is prepared with two columns, debit and credit. So trial balance is a statement prepared with the debit and credit balances of the ledger accounts to test the arithmetical accuracy of the books. So why this trial balance is prepared? So in order to check the arithmetical accuracy of our ledger accounts. So if you just look into the format, so you have the serial number, you will have the name of the account, debit column, credit column. So you list down all the ledger accounts and put the amount in the respective debit or credit column as per their nature of account. And then at last you have to add up the total of the debit column and the total of the credit column. So both the columns should be equal. If the trial balance tallies, we can say that our ledger balances are correct. But in certain cases, it cannot be treated as a conclusive proof that all the ledger balances are correct. There are certain errors which are not disclosed by the trial balance. If there is no agreement between the debit column total and the credit column total, which means if the trial balance does not tally with the debit column and the credit column, if both are different, it is not equal, then it is an indication that you have made some mistake in the ledger or in the journal, or somewhere we have made some mistake. So let us first look into the definition given by J.R. Bartleby. A trial balance is a statement prepared with the debit and credit balances of the ledger accounts to test the arithmetical accuracy of the books. So this is the definition given by J.R. Bartleby. So from the above definition, let us look into the features now. So it is a statement having all the ledger balances. So it contains balances of all ledger accounts. So when it is prepared, it can be prepared on any day, on a specified day. So on the title, you will be writing trial balance as on, and you will fill the date on which you are preparing the trial balance. So it is prepared on a specific date. Why do we prepare this? In order to test the arithmetical accuracy of the books. So it helps to test the arithmetical accuracy when double entry system is followed. So as per the double entry system, for every debit, there will be an equal and corresponding credit, and vice versa. For every credit, there will be an equal and corresponding debit. And as I told you, if there is any difference between the totals of debit column and the credit column, it is an indication of errors committed somewhere. And we have to look into the ledger book again to find out why there is a difference. And then in case, that's why if you take the ledger, you will have that column JF, journal folio. So in case of any doubt, you can refer in the journal with that reference number given in the ledger book. So if you have any doubt regarding a particular account, you can just look into the journal folio number. You can get the reference number and then take the journal, look into that page number. You can also see that LF column in your journal. That LF column stands for ledger folio number. So this entry has been posted in the ledger in such and such page. So you can counter check. And here comes the value of narration. Why narration is important when you write an entry in the journal. Right? Sometimes you would have made some mistake in your journal entry while preparing your journal. The same mistake will be carried forward to your ledger. So you have to find the mistake. Where did you go wrong? Only when you spot the error, you can rectify it. So this is just the first step to test the arithmetical accuracy. And you have another chapter called rectification of errors, a separate chapter. Now, as far as this particular chapter is concerned, we are just going to do the trial balance alone to check the arithmetical accuracy. So, there are some errors which are not disclosed by trial balance. Compensating errors are there. So, you would have made a mistake. Instead of crediting a particular account, you would have debited. Similarly, instead of crediting, you would have debited some account. If the amount matches, then the trial balance gets tallied. Those compensating errors cannot be disclosed by trial balance. That's why we can say that certain errors are not disclosed by trial balance. We may think that if the trial balance gets tallied, it is error free. Not like that. Errors like compensating errors cannot be disclosed by the trial balance. So we can say that trial balance is not a conclusive proof that the ledger balances are error free. So these are some of the features of trial balance. Objectives of trial balance. So why do we prepare trial balance? The first objective is to test the arithmetical accuracy. So after doing our ledger, after posting it, we will be balancing the ledger accounts. Right? In order to check whether our ledger balances are correct or not, we will prepare this trial balance. And as you already know, the accounting cycle, we start with the transactions, recording of transactions. From that we will do the journal entries. From journal, we will be preparing the ledger. And after ledger, we prepare the statement called as trial balance. And we will take all these ledger balances in order to prepare the final accounts. So this trial balance forms a basis of preparing final accounts. Then location of errors. So if you want to, as we discussed the first point to test the arithmetical accuracy. So after preparing the statement, the total of debit column should be equal to the total of credit column. If both are equal, then we can say that our accounts are correct. In case if it doesn't get tallied, if there is any difference between the total of debit column and the credit column, then we can know that we have made some mistake somewhere, and we will be locating the errors. It helps us to locate errors. And then it is a summary of ledger accounts. So these are the objectives of trial balance. Trial balance, like any other thing, you have certain pros as well as cons. So every coin has two faces, two sides, right? Similarly, trial balance has some advantages as well as disadvantages. Let us now look into the limitations of trial balance. You can prepare trial balance only if you follow the double entry system of bookkeeping. If we don't follow, we cannot prepare the trial balance. So it is possible to prepare trial balance only when double entry system is followed. The next point, even if some transactions are completely omitted, the trial balance will tally. So if we don't record a particular transaction, it will not affect the trial balance. Why? When you completely omit a transaction, you won't record that in the journal. As you know, only from journal, those entries will be posted in the ledger. And only from ledger, we will be preparing the trial balance. If the entries are not recorded in the journal itself, it will not come to the ledger. And you won't post anything in the trial balance. Able to understand? In case of complete omission, if a transaction is totally omitted, the trial balance will tally. It will not affect the trial balance. But you have made a mistake. That mistake is not disclosed by the trial balance. That is one of the major limitation. In the feature itself, I told you about this. That's why we cannot take it as a conclusive proof of arithmetical accuracy. Able to understand? We have completely omitted a transaction. It is not recorded in the journal. It is not posted in the ledger. And how can we expect the account in the trial balance? Able to understand? When we completely omit a transaction, there is nothing being shown in the trial balance. Other transactions will be recorded in the journal. It will be posted in the ledger, and from ledger you will take down the balances and prepare the trial balance. Even if your trial balance, both the debit column as well as the credit column are equal, you cannot say that it is a conclusive proof of arithmetical accuracy. Why? Because in case if we omit a transaction completely, it is not shown in the trial balance. So this is one of the major limitations of trial balance. And if it is not prepared in a systematic way, final accounts may not depict the actual state of affairs. As I told you, in the accounting cycle, we start with transactions, right? Transactions. From transactions, journal. From journal, ledger. From ledger, is trial balance. From trial balance, you have the final accounts. So this final accounts consist of trading, P&L and balance sheet. Able to understand this? So if trial balance is not prepared in a systematic way, then your final accounts may not depict the actual state of affairs. So these are the limitations of trial balance.